Hello everyone, welcome to my new tutorial series that I would like to start today. And this is about how to make animations. So if you are, for example, a physics teacher, or you are a scientist and you have to give lectures in physics and you want to show how parameters change in time, you want to visualize basically the behavior of objects, for example, moving in the gravitational field of the Earth, then it's always good to use animations for that. And there are many possibilities how to create animations. I have also uploaded a video recently about how to make these kind of animations with Root, for example. But it's definitely more complicated to use such a program. And the easiest way is, what I found out, is to use JavaScript for that. Because you don't need anything else except a web browser, which where JavaScript is of course activated, and a text editor where you can write your source code. And yeah, how this works and how simple this is, this I want to show you now in the first video of this tutorial series. So in order to do that, we only need to open a new HTML file. So if you use Windows, you can just create an empty file, you use as an ending HTML, and then you can actually directly open it in your web browser, or as you can use Linux, as we are using it now in my case, where you, for example, can use the terminal in order to create a new HTML file. And we call it now tutorial1.html. Or first, maybe we can just create a new folder, which we call animations. And now in this, we create a new file, tutorial1.html, and then we can start actually how we start always in HTML. So we first have to put the HTML tag, so the browser knows that now HTML text is coming, and then we have to define a head. So we use this head tag, and of course we always have to write it in this way. And then we can also maybe set a title. So let's call it just animation. So this will be then later shown in the window of our web browser. And then we can define our body here. And I hope you are a little bit familiar of how to write HTML code. Otherwise, there are many tutorials available in the internet. But what we need here is quite simple. Basically, whatever we want to now write in HTML, we have to put in between these two body tags. Or maybe first we can just test it. So you can use, of course, any web browser to open this, whatever is your favorite one. In this case, I would like to use Chromium to show that also it works here quite well. And of course, you don't see anything at the moment, but the title here is animation. So at least when this is shown, then it means that now everything works so far. And now we can, the thing which I would like to use now from HTML5 is the so-called canvas tag. And if you don't have a browser which is maybe older than 5 years, I guess HTML5 support should be absolutely no problem. If it does not work, then maybe it would be also a good idea to update the browser or to check whether you can activate HTML5 support in your browser. But nevertheless, with modern browsers, there should be no problem at all. So I would like to use this because it makes things a little bit easier. And then for this canvas, we have to define an ID, which we can just call, for example, canvas. It doesn't matter so much, but we have to be consistent later, as I will show you. Then we can define a width. We can define a height. Maybe we just want to make it 800 pixel wide and 600 pixel high. And then we have to define a style. And in order to show the canvas in our browser, I would like to make a solid frame around this with maybe a width of 1 pixel. And in principle, okay, we can also write an error message. So we can write here, for example, your browser does not support HTML5 tags. And then we have to write here /canvas to close it. And if we run this, then either we receive an error message or we get this canvas. I think it's a little bit too large. Let's make it a little bit smaller, maybe only 400 times 300. Yeah, now it looks, I think, a little bit better. Okay, so our browser supports this. There's absolutely no problem. So now actually we can start to write our JavaScript code. And please also make sure before you run it that in your browser JavaScript is activated and not some kind of security issue is happening which maybe blocks running JavaScript. Then you will not see anything. But now you can find this out by just following me in writing, and then at the end you should see something, I guess. So we have to put this script tag now here, and our JavaScript we have to put in between this script and /script. So the first thing which we need to do if we want to do anything with drawings or animations, we have to declare a variable which we call maybe just canvas, but of course you can also call it differently. And then we have to write here document in order to get access to our HTML5 website. And then we have to write the function get element by ID. And now you can see why it is important to be consistent. So now we have to basically get access to this canvas which we created here. So we have to put the ID name here into this function as an argument. And then I would like to create another variable which I maybe call drawing, and then we have to write canvas. So we use this variable that we created here, and then we use the function get context, and then we have to write as an argument in quotation marks 2D. So now we tell JavaScript that basically we want to create drawings, two-dimensional drawings. And this is also very important because later we have to access this variable to draw something. And yeah, this we can maybe directly do now to check whether it works. So we can write here, for example, drawing, and then what we can, first of all, before we draw any object, we have to write begin path. And then what follows is basically the description of the object which we want to draw. So in this case, let's suppose we want to draw a circle, which we can do with the arc function. So we can write here drawing dot arc, and then the first argument is the x coordinate where it should be drawn, for example 20, and then the y coordinate where it should be drawn, let's suppose again 20, and then the radius of the arc, maybe 10, and then the starting angle. And if we want to create a full circle, then we have to start, of course, with 0, and we have to go around 360 degrees. And yeah, in this case, we have to use the value in radians, which means 2 pi, and we can use the math library to take pi from that. We don't have to define this value, we can just use it from there. So what we can write here is 2 times math pi. And then after the begin path, of course, we have to close the path also. So what we have to basically tell now JavaScript is whether we want to have maybe fill for a filled circle, then it will be just black, or we can maybe write stroke, and then we can only see the line. And it's also very important, please take care that when you write any command in JavaScript that you have to end with a semicolon. And now we can press F5 for update, and you can see now our canvas with the circle here, which is not filled, in the upper left corner, because coordinate 2020 would be here. So if you write here, for example, coordinate 200, then it means it will be in the center of our canvas. But okay, for the time being, we can write 20, so now it will be on the upper left corner. Okay, this is in principle very simple. So with a few commands, you can actually make a drawing in JavaScript. But drawing is not enough for us, of course, because we also want to animate this drawing. And in order to do that, I would like to put some things into separate functions, because then it will be a little bit easier to access. But you will also see that it's not very complicated. And with a few lines of code, we can actually create this animation. So yeah, this part here I would like to put in another function, which I would call maybe draw, because this will be whatever we draw, we will put now into this function. And yeah, then we can just make an indent here. And then I would like to create a function which I call init. So there we will put everything inside which should be only loaded once. So in order to make sure that this function is only loaded once, we can write here window.onload equals init. So whenever the window is loaded, which means that we open the website or we refresh the website, then this init function is called, but not in other circumstances. And then we can write here window.request animation frame animation loop. So what does it mean? It means that we basically tell now JavaScript that what we draw should be animated, and for that we use this function request animation frame, and the argument of this function will be another function which we have to define now. So we have to write here function animation loop, and the argument of this can be, for example, timestamp, which is related to the actual timestamp basically, but for the time being we don't need that. Later in one of the next videos I will explain how these things with the timestamps are actually working, but for the time being we don't need it because we can just actually make it much more simple, which has some disadvantages, but for the time being it's perfectly okay. And then this is a recursive function basically. So inside this function we have to write, or we have to basically copy this whole line here and put it into that. So every time when this function is called, then it calls itself again, more or less. And then what we also have to put into that is the calling of our draw function. So with every frame, with every step which takes place, draw is called. And then I would like to also create another function which I call update, where I put everything inside which is constantly updated, which means, for example, the timestamp. And for that I can then here create another variable. By the way, when I'm putting these variables here outside of a scope or outside of a function, these are automatically taken as global variables. This is important. So if you put this into our init function, for example, this whole stuff, then it will not work, just because draw cannot access these variables. But if I'm putting them outside, then it means that they can be accessed from everywhere. And now I can write var t equals 0. So now t will be the time that passes. And then in our newly defined update function, which we define here, we can actually increase t by always 1. And then, of course, at the moment it's still static. So if we would save this and run this, it will not show anything. It shows some now strange behavior with the circle, but you will come to know quite soon why this happens. So at the moment it's static. So we also have to change something, and this is of course the x and y coordinate. Let's suppose we want that this circle moves from the upper left corner to the lower right corner. So the only thing which we have to do is now to add this variable t to our x coordinate, and also the same to our y coordinate. So with every timestamp, this x and y coordinate is incremented by 1, by t. And now we can actually save that and run it again. And now you can see that the ball moves or the circle moves, but it also creates a line. And the reason for this is in principle quite obvious, because the circle is drawn once, and when it's animated it's drawn multiple times with different coordinates, but the previous one is not deleted. It just remains as it is. And in order to avoid this problem, we just have to add one more line, which is called clear rect. And this is just to create a white rectangle, more or less, or a clear rectangle. And this should start at the coordinate 0, 0, which is in the upper left corner, and should go to canvas width and canvas height. So from the upper left to the lower right corner. And when we save this and run it again, then you can see very smooth movement of our circle. And of course you could change this animation speed by changing this value here for t. So now for every frame we want to add 5 pixels instead of only 1. So when we do this, it's going of course very fast. Or we can also write a smaller value, like for example 0.1, and then as you can see it moves quite slow. So this is a very simple animation. I think it's not possible to make it more simple. And you can already use this to extend it. and yeah, use it for any other purpose, for whatever you want to animate or simulate. But in the next videos, I will of course go more into details and explain a little bit more how to make the animations more interactive, how to use the timestamp to make it independent from the frame rate, and so on. Yeah, but this will come then in the next videos. For the time being, you only have to keep in mind you need basically 4 functions, and one is an init function which is only called once when the window is created, an update function which includes everything which is updated with every frame, and a draw function which basically draws what you want to draw in every frame. Yeah, then you need this request animation frame function and this animation loop function together in order to to tell JavaScript that you do an animation and that what happens in every timestamp that is basically created. Okay, yeah, and with this I would like to close my video. You can also try this, and hopefully the result looks the same. So when the circle left our canvas, it's of course not drawn anymore, but if you refresh it, it always starts again here because yeah, this whole script is started again. Okay, and yeah, I hope that you liked the video. If you want to see more from this topic, please write it into the comment section. If you like the video, please hit the like button, subscribe my channel if you want to see in general more videos about physics content, and yeah, then I hope we will see each other very soon again.